If you're trying to maybe build up a portfolio to help demonstrate some of your understanding, go and pick a brand and then do a little bit of a case study. The key thing is you want to be able to explain why you've created the work that you've created. I've created a nice graphic and I'm putting it out, but why? I'm looking to hire someone within a social role. I want to see evidence. You could say on a piece of paper, I've done this, this and this, but I want to see some proof. Mock campaigns been a really useful thing for me to have done to increase my understanding, but give me the confidence that I have examples of things that I can talk about at interviews.
What's sort of like the simplest tour workflow somebody could practice?
So I think a really good thing to do is if you're trying to maybe build up a portfolio to help demonstrate some of your understanding, because at the end of the day, it's understanding that I want to get if I was to interview somebody. Go and pick a brand. Pick any brand that you like and then do a little bit of a case study. You could pick a piece of content that they maybe have on their website and you could maybe create some content around that. So let's say it's an article. You could then come up with suggestions on how would I promote that article? And you could maybe, if you wanted to, create some examples on Canva, or you could even just ideate and maybe talk about how you would go about doing it, the key considerations that you need to consider. It could be that you pick a web page that's maybe got a solution on it, or it's maybe got a particular product and you would like to market that product, and just create some examples. But the key thing is you want to be able to explain why you've created the work that you've created. So let's say I pick a brand, a clothing brand, and I want to market a particular product. I need to have an understanding of the brand. What channels do they use already? How do they use their channels? You want to maybe make content that fits in with what they're already doing. You can experiment, of course, and come up with new ideas. But you want to make sure it has maybe a similar tone of voice or a similar look to their brand. All of these are key considerations that, you know, if I met somebody and they said, look, I made my own kind of campaign and these are the reasons behind. Being able to showcase the metrics is obviously difficult if you're not doing it for real, but it's being able to have an understanding. So if I said to you, that's great. So let's say if you set that campaign live, what kind of metrics would you be wanting to report on for brand awareness? And if you're able to tell me that, then I know you have an understanding. It's not just, I've created a nice graphic and I'm putting it out, but why? I want to know the why. I think that's the kind of theme from our conversation today, isn't it? It's the why. So I think pick a company or pick a couple of companies and maybe just you could create a case study. You could do a few graphics in Canva, or you could put together an idea of how you maybe do a video. Then you've got something to show. I think that will give you a talking piece at any of interviews as well. And you can take that content and you can put it up on LinkedIn. You know, you can add projects. I think just be explicit that it wasn't a real campaign for that company. I think that's absolutely fine though. And we already spoke about personal brand. Why not create some content around the content that you're creating? You could create a self-filmed video. You could say, I've decided to try and create some content for this particular brand. And you can talk through your thought process or how you found the project or key things that you maybe didn't think of, or I think it would look quite good if you did that for your own LinkedIn page. Again, if I was seeing that, I'd be like, okay, they have a really good understanding of what they're talking about.
What I wanted to ask you as well is the way this person, once he finished, understood, practiced that workflow, what is the best way to document it for like LinkedIn, let's say, or on their CV, or to showcase in their portfolio, for example?
So if you have a portfolio, obviously it would be great to add that in. Whenever I'm looking to hire someone within a social role, I want to see evidence, because it's such a content specific, it's almost like an artistic type of career if you're creating content, isn't it? So you could say on a piece of paper, I've done this, this and this, but I want to see some proof. a lot of skills can be taught.
Yeah.
But having that interest, if you have an interest in creating video content, then by all means start creating some and having it available for people to view. So as I said, there are places that you can add projects on LinkedIn and you could post about it. It doesn't have to be a video of you speaking through it. It could even be just some screenshots of the work and just a post about the process and why you did it and what you learned. You could delve into so many different things. There's obviously influencer marketing, that a lot of brands use. You could look specifically at that area. Another area that's really important for B2B is employee advocacy. So we're seeing that corporate LinkedIn pages are getting squeezed out of feeds. So we're really struggling to get the reach that we once did. So working with our employees to amplify our reach is more and more important. It's almost like influencer marketing.
But you're encouraging your team to do something. Yeah.
So you could even maybe look at that. I guess it depends on what it is that you're interested in. And regardless, maybe you want to work B2C and then you end up going for a B2B job. There's still the same skill set within social that you just apply to a new sector and a new audience. So it's all transferable skills. And again, being able to discuss how you came to that thought process, why you decided to go for a video or why you went down the influencer route will really help me understand that you understand how social media works and also how it works in a business context versus using it, in your personal everyday life too.
If somebody wants to follow your work, where they should find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm under Camilla-Erika Campbell.
Perfect. And I've got only one last question.
Okay.
If you could text 18-year-old self about getting into marketing, what would first step you would advise yourself to do?
Sometimes when you look at job roles, it can be quite daunting because you feel like you have to be able to do everything, and that's not necessarily the case. So I know myself, when I used to look for jobs, there was a confidence issue. And I think talking about doing some of the mock campaigns have been a really useful thing for me to have done to increase my understanding, but give me the confidence that I have examples of things that I can talk about at interviews. So I think just go for it. There's so much information out there. You can get information on the social media platforms, probably on all the platforms. You've got people creating content. It's really easy to create content. As we were saying, that authentic content, self-filmed content makes it more easily accessible to create content. So just have a go and learn from your mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. Things are not always going to go to plan. Why not reflect on them? Because other people will learn from your content as well. So if you're sharing your journey on how you're trying to upskill yourself in social media and doing these mock campaigns, share your learnings, share the good, share the bad. It makes you more relatable, and I think I would personally like that myself. So have the confidence to try.